Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a pretty interesting tier list. I found it obviously on Tier Maker. Interesting. So first we have Alan. We're doing the what's it called? UFC Apex main events in 2024 tier list. Interesting. So topic or categories we have: wasted in the Apex, banger fight, good for the Apex, typical Apex main event, get rid of the Apex. I'm a huge fan of the Apex. Does it suck that we get kind of some fights that aren't great in there? Sure. It is overwhelming how many good fights we have in the Apex. I know sometimes like Dern and Hebot's in Apex kind of sucks, but I'd rather have it on the Apex card than a pay-per-view card. So get off those trash ass fights and put them on the Apex. I'm fine with that. Sometimes they turn to trash. They turn from trash to awesome. So, anyways, like I said, let's start doing it. Allen versus Chris Curtis. I think this fight was awesome. I think it's definitely good for the Apex. This main event was very good. Chris Curtis won the first matchup. I thought Chris Curtis won the second matchup pretty handedly. Did Allen look better? Yes. I thought his movement looked a little bit better in this one. His clinch ability kind of kept him in the fight at times, but I thought Chris Curtis won this fight. Like I said, pretty handedly. So next we have Johnny Walker versus Ankalaev, and this is a typical Apex main event. You know, you have a journeyman to a guy trying to finally get that title shot. So I mean, had a title shot against Jan and didn't look very good, and then had got a draw, you know, and all that stuff. But Walker is so bad. He was in a division after John Jones left the division because he's scared of Francis. Idiots. You know, he came into a division to where he was wild, creative, and all this stuff. And then Corey Anderson, the guy that doesn't finish anybody, absolutely destroyed him, made him look like a bitch. You know, so I still don't think Ankalaev should fight Alex, but there's not really a lot of guys there for Alex to continue fighting. So, yeah. But yeah, you know, the first fight, weird. Walker gets hit with the illegal strike. It was weird. Second time, Ankalaev absolutely destroys Walker, but everybody destroys Walker. I would destroy Walker. So, typical Apex main event. Next, we have Barboza versus Murphy, and I think this is an absolute banger. You get Edson Barboza, who, even though he's 38 years old, he's still goddamn good. Is he the same dude that he used to be? Absolutely not. Slower movement, not as sharp on his strikes, but still really, really good. If you doubt him, he's going to make you pay. Little Murphy, a lot of volume, won him the fight. I mean, that's what it is. He had better cardio and better volume. Very, very good fight. One of my favorite fights from this year. It kind of, even though I think the Dan Ige fight kind of brought Lerone Murphy down a peg, I think Barboza kind of lifted him really high up there, because that's you don't go 5 rounds striking wise for 5 rounds with Edson Barboza. So yeah. Next we have Burns versus Brady. I really don't like get rid of the Apex. I'll say typical Apex main event. It's the same thing. Brady, up and comer, and Clive, up and comer. Burns and Walker, kind of journeyman. Burns obviously is better than Johnny Walker, clearly. And then you have Cannonier Borello, good for the Apex. I like this fight. I think it's fun. I don't think it's a banger. But I thought Cannonier kind of exposed Borello a little bit, and I thought Borello's striking looked pretty dang good. I was surprised he didn't go for a little bit more takedowns or clinching situations, be a little bit more active-wise. But he almost finished him in the end, and Borello looked good. So that's all you can really ask for. Next, you have Delize versus Imavov, and I think this is damn near the bottom. This is, to me, one of the worst main events. Because I do think both fighters are decent. I'm a pretty good fan of right now. Going into this fight, I thought Delize was going to mop the floor. Weird striking, but good striking. Really, really creative on the ground. Imavov, who has been known to gas up until this point before, I thought Dolidze would take control from that because of that. So Imavov absolutely beat the shit out of Dolidze. So not a great fight. Basically one-sided. Not that good. Next we have Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. Typical Apex main event. The difference between the out of these three with the Hermansson versus Pyfer, the up and coming guy lost. The veteran guy won. So yeah, Hernandez versus Pereira. It's the same thing, but I think this fight was good for the Apex. I think Hernandez versus Pereira. I was a little bit shocked on how handily Hernandez beat Pereira. I thought Pereira's explosiveness and his speed and his big power would do some good things against Hernandez, who's just always moving forward. And he gassed out real quick. Makes you wonder, what training camp did you train? What did you train for? So, yeah. Next, we have Lemos versus Jana Dobra. I just do not care. Sorry. Sucks to suck. Do not care. Not good. Next, we have Magny versus Pratis. I think Magny versus Pratis is very good. A decent fight. I thought it was weird that Magny was able to get as close as he was, as often as he was. And then it came out after the fight that Pratis broke his foot or had a foot injury in some sorts. Wild. That makes sense. And then he flatlines him with a punch that hit the top of his head. The side of his head, but top of his head. Interesting. That guy's going to be a monster. Next, we have Nikolai versus Perez. Again, this is the typical main event. Nikolai versus Perez. Nikolai, the up-and-comer, against the veteran. Again, this time, the veteran won. Nikolai didn't use his grappling, didn't mix everything together, and he's a very good grappler. Chose to strike, and he loses decisively. Next, we have Pereira versus Taira. I think this fight is absolutely, you know what, I'm going to say wasted in the Apex. The reason why I'm going to say that is even though it was a main event here, so there's, weird because I think in Apex, it's going to be main event. Fight night is going to be a main event, which are probably in the Apex centers, unless they're moving around, whatever. Fight nights, Apex, all those things. If that fight's not on that card and it's on a pay-per-view card, we don't get 5 rounds. If we are just going on the basis that, okay, we have 5 rounds, doesn't matter where we do this, what are we doing? Interesting. I think, this fight was absolutely wasted on being in the Apex. 100%. Okay, next, we got Ribas versus Namajunas. Get it the fuck out of here. Terrible fight. Just awful. Not good, not exciting, not fun to watch. This is what people hate. Right here. Next, we have Hoival versus Teixeira. Actually, you know what? I read this wrong. Read it wrong. Typical Apex main event. My bad. I read it wrong. I thought it was Royval versus Teixeira. Read it wrong. So, yeah. Perez, Teixeira finishing Perez very early. It's the same thing as I've been saying with all this. Veteran guy fighting the up-and-coming guy. He got this fight right after he knocked out Nikolai. And then he gets finished, again, very early. So, in the Royval versus Teixeira, exactly what I just said before. Incredible fight. And within it, with a big like arena crowd or just a big crowd, it would have been so much fun for that fight. Next, we have Rosenstruck versus Gaziv. This is, again, a typical Apex main event card. Main event, Jesus. Rosenstruck, up-and-coming, veteran. Gaziv, up-and-coming. Veteran wins this one. Wild how that happens. I thought the pressure, the pace, the output, all these things would give Rosenstruck problems. Nope, sure didn't. So, interesting main event. Interesting. Next, we have Tuivasa versus Tybura. This one's bad. This one is bad. It's just bad. Like, that's the reality. Tuivasa has looked so bad in his losses. This fight was weird. It didn't make a ton of sense. What more can you really say about it? Not good. Correct? Okay. Next, we have Tybura versus Spivak 2. And Spivak got the armbar very early in that matchup. And again, it's an interesting one because Sergey Spivak, up-and-comer, against the veteran, and the up-and-coming prospect gets a nasty armbar, gets the win. So, Tybura is fighting somebody decent now. Oh, I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure he's fighting. But anyways, these are my thoughts on the Apex, what is it called? UFC Apex main events in 2024. Yeah, these are my thoughts on it. Only one or two fights, one fight in Banger and one fight in Wasted in the Apex. So that should tell you something. But as always, guys, subscribe, like, comment, let me know who you are picking. And as always, peace.